So I'm here with Vijay Kumar, Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga teacher from Mysore, India. Hello Vijay, how are you today?
Very good, thanks.
Thank you. So I have a few questions for you. The first is, how did you start with yoga and what made you to continue with it?
Well, basically, I don't know how I started because I was born in a family of bhakti yogis. So it just was a way of lifestyle. It's how it. So rather than I starting it with, it started with me. And even to this day, I'm practicing the same. But for the asanas, I started when I was around 9 years old. My mother was my initial teacher to teach. Eventually, by the age of 13 and 14 years, my brother started to teach me, Vijay Kumarem. And I always wanted to stay because I loved this system of lifestyle. So I wanted to stay with the practice of yoga. So I decided to choose the yogic path and share the knowledge of yoga so that I can continuously be in touch with the practice. Although I was studying in the mechanical field of engineering, I quit that field. I chose to stay with the practice of yoga. Yeah.
Okay. One of the things, I've come back to your class and also to TTC, to your TTC training, was your adjustment. So was the adjustment always part of Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga?
I am not sure. Basically, I was never adjusted while I was being taught. But the adjustments were more like that came from within me when I saw that I could not impart to that person what I wanted them to do. So I helped them in a way with hands-on adjustments. So I always believe hands-on adjustments should be eventually lesser and lesser because when we adjust somebody, they should understand what we are doing. So eventually there is no more hands-on adjustments. But hands-on adjustment is something that was not taught to me or something that came from beginning of Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga practice. It just came into me when I saw the necessity, when the language could not help, the dynamics of the hands work better.
I see. So how did you learn it?
Came from within me. I don't know.
Okay, nice. You have also taught us Patanjali Yoga Sutras, to chant them and to know the meaning of them. Is it something that every yoga teacher or maybe every Indian person should know?
Anybody, there are 6 ways of realization. They are Nyaya, Sankhya, Vaisheshika, Yoga, Uttara and Purva Mimamsa. Purva and Uttara. So one among the ways of these 6 types of finding the true nature of the self is yoga. Whoever is interested in the practice of yoga must learn Yoga Sutras. It is a part of yoga, Yoga Darshana, which I have already explained to you. So part of Yoga Darshana is Yoga Sutras. So it's a compulsory for every aspirant yoga practitioner, whether he is a teacher or a student, no matter if it is a teacher or a student, because they are all practitioners. So everybody should learn Yoga Sutras because it's the most simplified form of the yogic scriptures.
I see. And what about the Gita, Vedas, Upanishads?
Definitely. Yoga Sutra is the simplified form of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the simplified form of Upanishads. Upanishads is a simplified form of Vedas. So you first start with the simplest because it's easier for us to understand. Then go ahead because Veda comes from the darshana of Purva Mimamsa, which I was telling you just now. 6 ways of realization. Yes. Darshana, 6 darshanas, Shad Darshana. So Purva Mimamsa has Vedas. Uttara Mimamsa has Upanishads, Gita, etc. And Yoga Darshana has Yoga Sutra. So being a yoga aspirant, we have to start with Yoga Sutras. Once we understand the Yoga Sutras, then it's easier to relate to Gita. Once you learn the Gita, and easier to relate to Upanishads.
I see. Thank you. As you are well versed in all 4 Ashtanga sequences, do you think it is necessary to learn all of them, or is it just enough to learn only the first and second series? Or what does it bring to you to practice also third and fourth series?
The reason why I learned because of its ability to challenge me against the gravity.
I see.
It is fun. Definitely, it strengthens one's mind.
Mm-hmm.
Strengthening the mind or cultivating the mind is the idea of yoga practice.
Mm-hmm.
So it helps us to encourage us to go beyond the physical obstacles when we start the advanced sequences. At the same time, it is also not absolutely important for every yoga practitioner because there is no absolute truth in them. Why I say that? Because what is possible today will change in few years. What is not possible today will also change in few years. So asana doesn't have any absolute truth. But for a yoga teacher, we cannot, as a yoga teacher, I cannot say they are not important until I have practiced them.
I see.
Only if I have done them and if I have realized from within, if I have this first-hand knowledge, I know they are not so important.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas primary series is the most important because it's possible to almost everybody and it works on the most important parts of our body to promote good health.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the third and fourth sequences helps us strengthening and cultivating in our mind in such a way that we are more focused and concentrated.
Mm-hmm. So what would you recommend to people they are not, let's say, able or because of their daily schedule, they are not able to practice like every day? Because here it's easy, you just come to Mysore just to practice, so you can practice 6 times a week. So what about these people? They are not.
See, again, it is the priorities, what comes first to us, because
mm-hmm.
we frame our day schedule based on our priorities.
Mm-hmm.
So if something has really touched us, we make sure that it is a part of our everyday activity. If it has not touched us and everybody say it is important, then we make sure that we do it twice or thrice a week.
Mm-hmm.
So they are all correct in their own perspectives because it depends on how they influence us in their lifestyle. So I recommend as a teacher, if it has really touched you, make sure you have made time in your schedule for your practices. Whatever, it may not be just asanas, maybe pranayama, maybe meditation, whatever that has been influenced you in a positive way. Because any yoga practices, in the first hand, even if it is not spiritual, promotes peace in one's mind. If there is peace, there is happiness. If there is happiness, you have everything that you need. So adjust your priorities. Make sure you have at least one practice of yoga every day.
Mm-hmm.
And as much time as you can provide with it. If you are just practicing asanas and if you feel you do not have too much time, Surya Namaskars every day for 10 times and finishing sequence, it will hardly take 25 minutes a day in 24 hours schedule. So see as much as possible.
Okay. When is it possible to come to you to Mysore and practice with you? Which months? When you start?
I teach 10 months a year from August till May. So I am available. June and July I don't teach usually because sometimes I travel outside to teach, or sometimes I just prefer staying home to practice, to reflect more on introspection. Okay. So usually 10 months I will always be available.
Okay. And last question is, do you have any core message for people out there? Anything, any recommendation or anything?
For yoga practitioners? Are there yoga practitioners who will see this? Or?
Yeah, yoga practitioners.
I would say be sincere to your practice and not serious, because being sincere opens more windows of vision and perspectives, whereas being serious will limit you only for the results of your actions. Being sincere is when you practice without any expectations, which promotes peace already from within you. So you practice as much as you can, you practice as best as you can, and you just allow it to happen. Whereas being serious, you push too much, too quick, and you end up with something negative most of the times. So always, as much as you can, practice those things which promote peace within you. And that will do the rest.
Okay, thank you very much.
Welcome.